Hello, welcome back. Roger Royce with the 10,000 Startups podcast. Recently, on our podcast, we did an episode on the Corporate Transparency Act, and we had reported about kind of the long, winding, torturous road that it has taken, um, uh, and had concluded with the fact that the enforcement of the act had been enjoined. But that decision was on appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, and had suggested the company should probably just file anyway on the possibility that the Supreme Court um, might stay that injunction. Well, that has happened. Today is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, and today the U.S. Supreme Court said it's going to allow the government to implement the Corporate Transparency Act by staying the injunction that a district court had granted blocking enforcement. So U.S. entities are going to be required to disclose who owns and controls their businesses, and the government can go ahead and enforce the law while it's being debated on the merits in front of the Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Just so you know, oral arguments are March 25, so it's not anytime, super soon. And, I just want to update the prior podcast. So if you're a company, again, you'd probably be well advised to do your best to comply because we still don't know how this is going to turn out. But the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed things to go forward. It was interesting, by the way, in that case, there was a concurrence. Justice Gorsuch concurred in the decision, but said, I'd go a step further and just take this case now and just definitively resolve this question whether a federal district court can issue universal injunctive relief throughout the entire nation. Been kind of curious that could happen. The court didn't do that, and there was a dissent by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who said she didn't see a need for the court to intervene at all because where's the fire? I shouldn't say that here in California. In other words, where's the exigency? This thing was enacted 4 years ago, so why is there such an emergency to enforce it now? We should just, just let things proceed in the lower courts. So tune in to my previous podcasts if you'd like to understand what the law is, what it requires. Currently, most business entities that existed before 2024 have until January 13 now to file. And you probably want to tune into the prior podcast to determine whether your company is subject to this law, whether it's required to file and when. And stay tuned because there will likely be updates on this topic. And now that I've kind of stepped into this morass, I'm going to have to see it through to the end. So I will be updating on this podcast as developments become available. Roger Royce, 10,000 Startups Podcast. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.